Hello, this is the Watchdog, and welcome back to Fun with Watches. If watches weren't fun, you'd only need one. Today we're going to review the Specht Sohne SP0003-6. Let's start out with the wrist check. I'm still wearing this Vario 1918 pilot's watch on a bun strap. I've been trying to get as much wrist time as I can with this watch so I can get it reviewed since it spent 2 weeks at my neighbor's. And Greg was wearing my Curran 8458. Grogu said Ben Solo asked his mom if she really fell in love with Han Solo, or is it because he was the only man around for the long voyage between Hoth and Bespin? He asked, was he your anti-spaceport in a solar storm? All right, let's take a look at the watch. Comes in this Specht Sohne box. Every Specht Sohne I've had it has come in a box like this. And here's the watch. This looks like an Omega from the Moon to the Mars Speedmaster. They don't make those anymore, though. I've had quite a few Speedmaster homages on my channel, but this is the first from Specht Sohne, and it appears to be as good as or better than the other watches in its class, such as Pagani Design or Corjo. But neither of those watches have the Earth, Moon, Mars colorway, so if that is your goal, then this Specht Sohne is your only choice if you don't want to spend the thousands of dollars for the actual Omega. This is a VK63 Mecha-Quartz powered chronograph, which is an affordable option that still gives you a sweeping large second chronograph hand. A real Omega Speedmaster still has a hand-wind chronograph, so a Seagull ST1902 would have been a more authentic choice, but that would have doubled the price of the watch. This watch comes in 6 different colorways. If you don't want the Earth, Moon, and Mars on your dial, then there's also a more traditional black with either plain or gilt hands and markers. There's also a blue dial, which looks more lavender to me with the gilt hands and markers. If white dials are your things, you can get a blue bezel and subdials for that silver Snoopy look. There's also a panda. The watch is 39 millimeters if you measure at the bezel, 47.2 millimeters lug to lug with inverted end links. It's only 12 millimeters thick, so it's fairly thin. Has a 20 millimeter lug width, and it tapers down to 18. And weighs 134 grams on the supplied bracelet with 3 links removed. The bezel's fixed, has an aluminum insert and with a tachymeter on it. And then we have the dial. The dial's a flat black with no sunburst effect. And it says Specht Sohne up top, then it says Chronograph underneath, then it has the logo up top. And then we have the markers. They're applied batons with little tiny lume dots at the very end. And the lume dots are lumed very poorly. And then we have the hands, we have the fence post minute and hour hand. And then we have the large second chronograph hand with a lume spear tip. And then we have the date at the 4:30. A lot of people don't like dates at the 4:30. I'd rather have a date than no date. But of course it would have been nice if they would have color matched it. But then again, this is a $60 watch. And then you have the subdials. You have Mars on the right, and this is your 24-hour indicator, so it's a pretty much useless subdial. It's basically a glorified AM/PM indicator. And then you have the moon on the bottom. This is your running second hand, and then you have the Earth on the left. This is your chronograph minute counter. And of course, having these fun planets, you lose a lot of legibility, because it's really hard to see the writing on the subdials, and it's kind of hard to see the actual hands either. Now this is a VK63 powered Mecha-Quartz, so you press the top pusher, and it starts ticking away 5 times a second. Press it again to stop, and press the bottom, and you get an instant reset instead of a fast rewind. Then we have a unsigned screw down crown, and the thread action is just great, pops nicely, and there's no resistance when you go to thread it back down, so that's great. And then we have the pushers. They're not screw down, So if you take this underneath the water, I make sure you don't press any of them. Of course, this is only a 50-meter watch, so you probably don't want to do that anyway. I don't know if you want to swim with this thing or not. And then we have the crystal. The crystal's flat, sapphire. And I don't know if it has AR coating or not. I don't think so. There seems to be quite a bit of reflection. And then we have the case. I like the case. They did a good job with it. Brush on the side, polished chamfered edge, brushed up top. So it's a good looking case. They did a good job with it. It's fairly thin. And then we have the case back. The case back is a screw down. We have notches for a wrench. Then it says stainless steel, water resistant, Japan Lume, Specht Sohne. Underneath the case back is the VK63 Mecha-Quartz movement. This is made by Seiko. And this is basically the go-to movement for chronographs in this price range. The main advantage is you get the large sweeping chronograph hand, so the tachymeter is actually useful or usable. And the disadvantage, of course, is you're going to have to change the battery the more you use the chronograph. So it gives you this thing, do I really want to use the chronograph and drain the battery? Where a mechanical, you don't care if you're using the chronograph because there is no battery. Then we have the bracelet. Bracelet's really nice. We got solid inverted end links, and this is a true fully articulating 5-link bracelet. So it wraps around the wrist really good. And we have these polished little side links here. So that's a nice touch. Unfortunately, though, we have a butterfly clasp. Most Speedmaster homages do not have a butterfly. But it is a nice butterfly clasp. It's signed. But because of this signature here, though, you can only close the clasp in one direction. Then the links, we have push pins, not screw pins. I'm perfectly fine with push pins. It's just easier, I think, to adjust. But there are no half links. So getting the perfect fit isn't too hard because these links are pretty small. But of course, if your wrist shrinks or grows, you're going to have to actually put a link in since there's no micro adjust. Here's the watch on my 7.5-inch wrist. That looks nice. It wears nice. Sits nice and flat on the wrist. And this fully articulating bracelet contours to the wrist just great. I removed 3 links though, so it could be a little bit longer. So 8 1/4 is probably the best you're gonna do without needing more links. And I don't know if you can ask the stores for more links or not. Of course, like I always say, you can always buy 2 of them, put one on a strap and rob the links out of the other. But then again, this is a $60 watch, so you're going to be spending quite a bit more than doing that to a $10, $15 watch. But it does look nice. Here we are in the Lume room. Since the biggest competition for a Speedmaster homage is in this price range is the Pagani design, let's hope the Lume is at least better than the Pagani design. As we speed up the time, we see the Blue Glow BGW9. The tiny little index dots fade instantly, but the hands and the tip of the large second chronograph is much better, with the hour hand being a particular standout. This is not awesome Lume, but still pretty good and much better than the Pagani design, although I have their latest version coming, and maybe we'll do a comparison of the Lume afterwards. What I like about this watch, it looks and wears great. It has a fun dial with Earth, Moon, and Mars. It has pretty good hand loom, and it has inverted end links, so it wears really good. What are my gripes and groans? This butterfly clasp means no micro adjust. The bracelet could be longer. I only removed 3 links. The index lume is a joke. And even though these Earth, Moon, and Mars makes the subdials fun, it really sacrifices some legibility there. Do I recommend this watch? Sure, especially if you want this colorway, since it looks like it is the only watch in this price range with the Earth, Moon, and Mars on it. Well, thank you for watching my review of the Specht Sohne SP0003-6, and I'll be back with another review. More than likely that Vario I'm wearing, because once again I need to get that reviewed so I can get it back to Vario since it's on loan. And if you like this watch, be sure to use my affiliate link and I'll get a tiny commission, but those tiny commissions do add up. And I'm pretty sure the next watch I will get with my commission money will be a Steinhardt. And I'd like to thank my Members Choice members. Still haven't sold the latest Members Choice watch. Somebody just asked about it last night, so we'll see if that goes through. And then I'll put another watch up for vote. Bye.